Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So today I am back to do my annual big unhaul of my bookshelves. Especially when I come back from Oxford back to my parents' home in West Yorkshire. I'm always looking at my bookshelves with glee, but also seeing the accumulation of books over the past year makes me think, quite a bit here, quite a bit here. And so it is nice just to refresh things. I do a combination of reorganising my bookshelves, as you might be able to see behind me, as well as doing a little unhaul of books, things that I'm unlikely to come back to, things that maybe I just didn't like quite as much. And then once I've selected which books are going to be leaving my shelves, they always do have a good home waiting for them. I'll be passing some along to friends and family. I'll be sending some to our local library, and they are always very, very happy with new books. There are charity shops nearby. There's also a free little library nearby. So please do rest assured these books will be going to good homes. And there's quite a few books to go through, I think around about 90 books, which is not as many as last year, but you know, still quite a lot. So without much more further rambling, let's just get straight into these books. Because there are quite a few of them, I'm not going to be able to go into depth on all of them, so it's just going to be a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. So the books that I'm going to be saying goodbye to. First off, we have The Revolt by Clara Dupont-Monod, a medieval historical fiction looking at Eleanor of Aquitaine from the perspective of her son Richard. For Thy Great Pain Have Mercy on My Little Pain by Victoria Mackenzie, a debut novel. Also historical fiction set in the late medieval period, looking at Julian of Norwich and Marjorie Kemp and kind of comparing their lives. Hurdy-Gurdy, another medieval history looking at the Black Death and Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. Bit of historical romance with a suffragist twist. These will be going to my friend Rachel, who loves a bit of historical fiction. I've got a pile of books here that will be going to various booktubers. Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rees, The End We Start From by Megan Hunter, Plum by Holly McNish, Hold Your Own by Kay Tempest, The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, Lullaby by Leila Slimani, The Child That Books Built, a memoir of childhood and reading by Frances Spufford, Exit West by Mohsen Hamid, and The White Book by Han Kang. None of these books are particularly bad books in my opinion, just ones I know that I'm not going to reread. So hopefully the various booktubers who will be receiving these will have a good time with them, and you'll hear more from them soon. Little pile of books that I'll be sending to my work friends. The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James. I just could not get into this one. I ended up DNFing it. Maybe one day in the future I'll come back to this one, but for the moment, not very successful for me. Happy Place by Emily Henry. Unfortunately, this is my least favourite Emily Henry. I just could not find myself rooting for any of these characters. How Do You Like Me Now by Holly Bourne, and Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I'm very grateful for the lessons that Sally Rooney has taught me in terms of how much I enjoy character development and character relationships when it comes to books, and I feel like that's why I've been holding on to my Sally Rooney. But unfortunately, even though she has taught me a lot about what I like in fiction, I don't actually like the individual stories enough to want to hold on to them. I've got two whole piles of books that will be going to my friends from musical theatre. The Women of Troy by Pat Barker, one of the only Greek myth retellings that I've actually DNF'd because I just was not enjoying it. Yellow Fist by R.F. Kuang. I was really excited to get into some of the hype of this year. I think it was a really interesting read, and I'm looking forward to reading Babel by R.F. Kuang, but I just know I'm not going to come back to this. Sleepfaring, which is non-fiction by Jim Horn on the science of sleep. Beach Read by Emily Henry, another Emily Henry that just did not quite hit the spot for me. Longbourn by Jo Baker, my least favourite Pride and Prejudice retelling I've read so far. All the Feels by Olivia Dade. I really enjoyed, spoiler alert, but this just did not live up to the hype. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaffer and Annie Barrows. Unfortunately, this is a case where I actually think the film is better than the book it was based on. Names of the Women by Jeet Thayil. The Dance Tree by Kieran Mulwood Hargrave. Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. I'm just going to have to admit to myself that Stacey Hall's writing style is just not for me. The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night by Jen Campbell. The Appeal by Janice Haller. I had a really great time reading this with the I Should Have Read That book club with Shannon and Karis, but unfortunately, you know, murder mystery is not really my thing. I did enjoy that this was set among a theatre group. That really did add some enjoyment for me, but I just know I'm not going to return to this. Man Up by Jack Irwin. The Gifts of Reading by Robert Macfarlane. I did enjoy this little essay by Robert Macfarlane, but I do have this whole essay in another book, which is also called The Gifts of Reading and an essay collection, so I don't need to hold on to this. How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. An interesting read when I was 18 years old and just kind of learning about feminism, but I feel like there are aspects of this that have aged kind of poorly and some areas that I just find a little bit basic now. And then I've had to admit to myself that I don't need to hold on to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. I read this entire series when I was 18, 19 years old, and the humour is just not for me. Completely understand why other people like this, but not for me. The Wicked Wit of Jane Austen. The Joy of Less by Francine J. No Life for a Lady by Hannah Dolby. Gothic Tales by Edgar Allan Poe. We Shall Fight Until We Win, which is a little graphic novel. Bored and Brilliant by Manoj Zomorodi. Another book series I'm just going to have to admit is not for me, though I am looking forward to seeing the TV series of this, is the Percy Jackson series. I'm so sorry. Rife, which is an essay collection edited by Nikesh Shukla. Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delara. Stellaria, The Short Second Life of Britannia by Stephanie Meyer. I am going to keep my Twilight series, but I don't really have much of a connection to this book. Etta and Otto and Russell and James by Emma Hooper, Matrix by Lauren Groff, The Betrayals by Bridget Collins, The Good People by Hannah Kent, The Exhibitionist by Charlotte Mendelsohn, The Chosen by Elizabeth Lowry, A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mystery, This One Sky Day by Leonie Ross, She Must Be Mad by Charlie Cox, My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Atesha Moshfegh, Atonement by Ian McEwen, The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugenides, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I am going to be keeping the first book in this series, but I am going to pass along the second. The Haunting Season, actually the second copy of this that I've ended up unhauling. Coynie by Candice Carty-Williams, The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter, Bookworm, A Memoir of Childhood Reading by Lucy Mangan, The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Blythell, How to Be Right by James O'Brien, The Silent Stars Go By Sally Nichols, The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsen Hamid, Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, Taste Like Shakar by Nisha Sharma, Ordinary People by Diana Evans, Birdsong by Sebastian Faulks, Hotel Silence by Awa Eva Olafsdotter, If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things by John McGregor, Yukichana in Bronte Country by Mick Jackson. A book that absolutely should have worked for me but didn't is Breaking Into Song, Why You Shouldn't Hate Musicals by Adam Linson. And then one that is currently on the purgatory pile, I'm going to give this another quick reread, and if I'm still feeling kind of meh about it, then I am going to pass it on, but this is a project for the end of the year for me, is The Weather Woman. We'll see how we go. There's also a clip that I'm going to insert now, which is some books that I unhauled and gave to some of my friends a couple of days ago, which is why they are not here for me to show you right now, but I think there were another 10 or so books there that I ended up passing on. So once I've gotten these all cleared out and sent to their respective people, it'll leave a nice extra bookshelf for me. I've had 2 big unhauls over the past 2 years, and I'm hoping that from now on I'll really be slowing that down. I definitely don't want to next year be doing another like almost 100 book unhaul. That's not really how I want to be cycling through my books. I'm hoping next year to really be powering through the books that I currently own and haven't read, and then following on from that, really utilising ebooks, audiobooks and the library especially in order to kind of test out books before I buy them. I really would like it to be at a point where the books that I'm buying are majority of the time keepers for my shelves, and definitely as few books bought on a whim as possible, but we'll see how we go. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.